find. I love finding those pewter buttons because you know they're 1700s.
I've got a few pewter items that I found in this hunt. Always like to find those. And I've got a few clips that haven't made it in previous videos that I've been saving, because this week I want to do a history clip on the history of pewter.
This one here rang up a 48. It was good and solid, but we've hunted all around right in here. It's a pewter button. Just didn't get the coil over that one. That's a great find. I love finding those pewter buttons because you know they're 1700s. We got a deep hole right here, and I barely heard this. It's a piece of pewter. I don't know if that was part of a button or a spoon, candle holder. That's a mystery item right there. Came out of that hole right there. Pretty deep. Out of that hole right there, this is something that we find every now and then. We don't find too many of them, but that's a pewter ball. And normally find those on colonial sites, but there is an old house right here on this Civil War site. I don't think any Civil War soldiers shot a pewter ball, but colonials did. That's a great find. Out of that hole right there, pretty deep. I've dug about 400 nails today, but I finally got a pewter button, part of a pewter button. It's been broke. That's a great big old button at one time. That's a good find. I'm back up on a colonial site here that I've hunted before, but I've never hunted with the GPX. And I've got the self coil on. And I want you to look how deep that hole is right there. That is a monster hole. Probably 14, 15 inches deep. And I've got a pewter button that I heard just as clear as a bell. But I hit it just a little bit right there and broke it apart. I'll still count it as a button. Wish I hadn't hit it, but wow. There's no way I would have found that with the AT Pro or CTX. Good find. I'm kind of hunting for one relic today. I'm at a spot that I've just absolutely pounded. And I want you to look here. I've got a pewter button domed on that side there. That's an old button right there. I wish that had been whole, hadn't been broke like that. I love that. I like these old pewter buttons because they're the oldest buttons that we find in our area.
Nobody knows exactly when or how pewter was invented. The earliest piece of pewter was found in an Egyptian tomb from 1450 BC. Early in its history, pewter was an alloy of tin and lead and up to 50% lead. During the 1200s and 1300s, pewter became popular in kitchenware such as plates, mugs, and utensils, but is also used to make candlesticks and other items. We often view pewter as being cheap, but around the 12th century, pewter was only within the reach of the very wealthy. By the 15th century, pewter found its way into less affluent homes and became a common replacement for household items that had previously been made of clay, leather, and wood. The use of pewter continued to increase through the 1600s, when master pewter artisans worked in both Europe and the New World. By the mid-1700s, the health hazards and tarnishing drawbacks of leaded pewter popularized a new type of pewter called Britannia, a non-leaded form of pewter. Nonetheless, pewter started to decline in the 1700s with the advent of porcelain, which replaced pewter items. During the 1800s, the invention of electroplating basically killed off what was left of the pewter tableware industry. And you might not know that during the War for Independence, due to a lack of available lead, many colonists donated their pewter to be cast into musket balls. Archaeologists have discovered examples of pewter musket balls on Revolutionary War sites in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina, and we've found a few on some of the colonial sites that we work in our area. So there you go. You know a little bit now about the history of pewter.
Got a little small button here.
Is it a cuff?
Almost a cuff, but no harder.
Yeah, it's bigger than a cuff, ain't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that is what you'd call a cuff button.
Yeah.
No shank. Not too many of them have shanks, especially the little ones. Good job, Maggie.
Thank you, bud.
AT Pro. And bingo. I got another one. I got a little cuff button here. The shank is broke off. Little brass button. I don't think it's got anything on the front of it. Most of them don't, just plain. Another flat button though. This is probably the best button that I found on this hunt. It's got a back mark on it. I think you can see. Right there, still got a shank. And Mike says he's got a button over here.
I hadn't cleaned it up yet. I
Just seen it. Here's mine right there.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
just
good.
found.
One of them 1800s, ain't it?
Yeah, 1820s with a.
You got a back on it? Oh
It's
yeah.
got a shank. It's been
Oh
over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
I want to do a shout out today to Digging with Deej. Here is her YouTube channel. She's got less than 100 subscribers, and what I'm trying to do is get her up to 100, so help me out with that. She does some metal detecting, she does some bottle dump hunting, so go check out Digging with Deej, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and be sure and tell her that Digging with 7 sent you.
I got a low signal here, or mid-tone, 48, 49 on the AT Pro. It's a Tombac button, still has the shank. It's broke. These Tombacs ring up lower than the brass buttons. Brass buttons will run 60 or higher, and a lot of these Tombacs ring up in the 50s, 40s. I'll take it. Another depot, and I've got another button, still got a shank on it. The old house sat right out in front of that tree, big tree, and all right along in through here we have found all kind of stuff. I think that they were probably going to the spring, which is behind me here, to get water, and probably a road that came in right here. Another great find. We moved over to a turn of the century house, and we've hunted this before a little bit, cleaned up a little bit over here though. I got a wheat scent, can't get a date. I don't have my magnifier with me. I'll get one and leave it in the description on this clip.